and it's day 3 at the 2017 Delaware Disc Golf Challenge. Will Andrew Fish have what it takes to take it all at this year's annual event, or will Steve Brinster come up from behind and take the victory? Or will there be a third contender that's going to step out as a dark horse and take the win? Stay tuned to find out as Disc Golf Monthly starts now. Hello and thank you for joining us for this month's edition of Disc Golf Monthly. This month's show takes us once again to the Iron Hill Disc Golf Course in Newark, Delaware for the 2017 Delaware Disc Golf Challenge. The Iron Hill Disc Golf Course presents a variety of challenges to players with tight fairways and elevation changes. The course is mainly mixed with its gold layout of par 4s, but there are some par 3s and par 5s mixed into the layout. Now we're going to take a quick look at the players that we're going to be covering today. In first place, leading the group in the Men's Open with a 129, we have Andrew Fish from Baltimore, Maryland. 2 strokes behind Andrew with a 131, we have Lance Brown shooting a 131 and from Burlington, North Carolina. And third place, shooting a 132, we have Steve Brinster from Warwick, New York. And rounding out the group from Safety Harbor, Florida, we have Calvin Heimberg in third place, shooting a 133. Well, it looks like we have a really tight group. Aside for Andrew, second, third, and fourth place are all 1 stroke apart. Second place, Lance Brown is 2 strokes behind Andrew Fish. So what this comes down to, who's ever going to manage these fairways the best, and some of these partially open holes know when to throw rollers and get some great placement shots, is going to walk away with this victory today. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to be covering round 3 coverage from this tournament. And don't go away, we'll be right back. And we're back for the start of round 3 of the 2017 Delaware Disc Golf Champion. And starting off, we have Andrew Fish. He's in the lead with a 129. Lance Brown's 2 strokes behind with a 131. We're going to start off on basket 1. This is a par 4, 605 feet. So Andrew's setting up for a turnover shot with a backhand. He floats that one on down there just nicely.
Nice shot. From Burlington, North Carolina, Lance Brown.
And just setting up for a sidearm. May have let that go a little too early. Let's see if that puts him in the rough off to the right.
From Warwick, New York, Steve Brinster.
Steve looks like he's also going with a right-hand backhand turnover shot. He does. He puts it up very high.
from Safety Harbor, Florida, and having a very nice round yesterday, Calvin Heimberg.
Good luck, Calvin. Here you go.
And so everybody starts off with a pretty good drive. Lance, he did go on the edge of the rough. He's going to go with an overhand shot to get out of that.
Nice shot.
Looks like that worked very nicely for him. Calvin's out in the open. He has a straight shot right towards the basket. He just floats it down there. Steve is also in the rough. Goes with an overhand shot, but he gets knocked down. Andrew just floats one on down there. And he's looking at a birdie from there. Here's Steve with his third shot. Lance looks like he's going to make a run at this. Goes with a jump putt. And he makes it. And he saves a birdie with that putt. That was fantastic. It's Calvin also putting for birdie. And he makes it. Here's Andrew. So everybody but Steve starts off with a birdie. And we're moving on to basket 2. This is a par 3, 380 feet. This is a very much a right-hand, backhand friendly pin position that they're throwing towards. Lance just doesn't get enough turn. He needed to go to the right of that tree, and he just cut a little short. Here's Calvin with his drive. Calvin also can't get away from that tree. Kicks him off to the right. And Steve makes it past. If he gets a good enough skip, he'll be looking at a birdie from there. Andrew's looking at a birdie. It's a little too low. Does not stay in the air long enough. It's just trying to save par with this putt. And it just comes down a little too soon. So Steve is the only one that birdies on this time. He's tied with Lance now for second. As we're moving on to basket 3. This is a par 4, 660 feet. So it looks like he's setting up for a backhand roller. It's usually what he does. And that's what he does on this hole. Andrew goes with the backhand. It's going to hyzer out for him. Here's how Calvin with his drive.
Boom. That's the one. Great line count.
Gets a very nice turn with that. It's going to fade out a little bit towards the end and go to the edge of the fairway. They get really fantastic distance with that. Here's Lance setting up for a flick shot off the tee.
Stand up for once, please.
And that's going to go off into the rough. Steve's playing out of the rough once again. Didn't hear anything. Here's Lance with his second throw. Andrew just comes up short with that putt. It's a little low. Calvin's shooting for birdie. And he makes it with an uphill shot. That's going to save par with this putt. Just still on top as we move on to basket 4. This is a par 4, 675 feet. And with that birdie, Calvin has the box to start. And he goes with a turnover shot. Gets really great distance with that. Andrew also goes with turnover shot. There's Lance. Again, going with the sidearm. He keeps it low. Gets a lot of turn. Looks like it's going to go a little too deep. He's going to be in the rough. Let's see what Steve has in store here. It looks like he's going. It's going with the backhand roller again, and it's going to stand up. See if it rolls right for him. Depending on how far right that rolled, that could be a fantastic drive. Here's Lance playing out of the edge of the rough. He gets struck down early. He crisscrosses the fairway. Here's Andrew with his second shot. With a straight shot, he could be landing over the basket here. That's a very straight shot. And he sets himself up for a birdie with that. Here's Steve with his second shot. Steve's putting for birdie again. And it's just a little low. And Andrew comes up with the lone birdie at that hole. As he has a 4-stroke lead. We're moving on to basket 5. This is a par 5, 690 feet to the basket. This is one of 2 par 5 holes on this front 9. As we see Andrew take a very straight shot, fantastic line. He gets kicked back out into the middle of the fairway. Here's Calvin with his drive. Calvin also gets a very straight, low shot.
Nice shot, Calvin.
Let's see what Steve has to offer.
Turn. Oh, wow.
Get through.
Wow.
Lance once again going with a sidearm. He's going to have to turn this over. This is going to be an interesting shot.
Come on, one time, please go.
Split him.
And it turned over a little bit for him, but he kicks off that tray. It was tough to get through that gap. It was just too narrow. Here's Andrew with his second shot. He's going to throw a turnover shot out there. Let's see where that leaves him. That's just off the fairway. It's a pretty heavy rough. He's going to try and go. It looks like maybe a roller shot, and that's what it is. Let's see if it rolls back on the fairway for him. And he's out there in a good position. That was a really good out for him. Here's Steve with his second shot. Gets a little too much turn on that. He may have let that go a little late. Here's Calvin with his second shot. He threads that perfectly. He just got kicked out some of those guardian trees protecting the basket. Here's Andrew with his second shot. And Andrew may be putting from there. He may have a look at an eagle. And Lance will be looking at a birdie from that lie. Here's Steve with his third throw.
Good luck, Calvin.
Steve's putting for birdie. He has a few trees in his way. He just doesn't make it. Andrew was that close to an eagle. He hit the chains, but it just would not stay in. Here's Lance going for birdie. And he makes it. And so with that birdie that Calvin's got, it's a 3-stroke lead now for Andrew Fish. As we move on to basket 6, this is a par 4, 625 feet.
Yep, good shot.
Calvin gets a nice shot. May went a little too deep. The fairway takes a slight dog leg around where his disc landed. Nance comes out with a really speedy shot. Hyzer's out perfectly. That's where you want to be right there. Andrew looks like he's going to go a little too deep. He's going to be on the edge of the fairway.
A lot of push. A lot of push. Come on.
And that was a great shot by Steve. He didn't go too deep. Hodged it out at the perfect time. Andrew's going to try and get out of this with a backhand roller shot. Just can't get away from those trees. So Lance is going to try to throw a turnover sidearm shot.
Nice line, dude.
And that fades back very nicely for him. So he'll have a putt from there. Steve also goes with a sidearm shot.
Right side of that. Yeah.
And they'll have a look at a putt for 3 with that. So Calvin's playing out of the rough. There's a backhand turnover shot. Here's Steve for birdie. He makes it. And Andrew saves par with that putt. Lance. And he makes a birdie as well. As we move on to basket 7, this is a par 3, 370 feet. This is the second of 2 par 3 holes on the front 9. Here's Lance once again going to the sidearm. And he just catches that tree. Steve's going with a backhand shot. Let's see how he can turn this over. And he gets, just misses that tree. It looks like that'll be in a good spot for him. He may have a chance at a birdie from that lie. Here's Calvin also going with a sidearm shot. And Andrew doesn't spend a lot of time in the box when it's his turn to throw.
Get up.
And Calvin tries to see if he can get his 2.
Nice putt.
And Andrew and Steve both birdie. Steve is now in second place. 3-way tie for second place. As we move on to basket 8, this is a par 5, 605 feet. This is our second par 5 hole on the front 9. It's an uphill shot, as you can see. Steve lets that go a little too early. As you get up the top of the hill, the fairway's going to bend to the right. It's a very rocky fairway. And Andrew, there's that just perfectly straight. It's in a great position. Lance is once again going with a sidearm. Yeah, he gets a little more turn. Looks like that's going to carry him off into the rough. There's Calvin with his first throw.
Great line.
Nice shot.
Steve's playing out of the rough once again. That shot appears as though he's back on the fairway.
Go Perry, baby.
Beautiful.
Good shot, Steve.
Nice shot.
Calvin's putting for birdie.
Good hit.
And he hits it. Steve's going to save par with this.
Yeah.
And
5.
fantastic save after struggling to get on the fairway. Lance also shoots for a birdie, a very shaky birdie. Everybody birdies this but Steve. As we move on to basket 9, this is a par 4, 555 feet. Andrew throws a perfectly straight shot right down the fairway. That drive is exactly where you want your disc to land. So it takes a slight dog leg off to the right. Lance goes with a sidearm once again. He gets enough distance, and that'll work for him. It's going to turn a little too soon.
That's a good kick, man. Good shot, Steve. Nice shot. Missed him off.
So Andrew's going to try to turn this over.
Oh, man.
And then he just cracks the bark of that tree way too early. It's just trying to get out of this here. Just set himself up for save par with that. They got him pretty close. Here's Steve with his second throw. Steve.
Yeah, Steve.
Wow.
But
The straddle putt works for him with that.
it was awesome.
That was fantastic.
Yeah, nice hit.
Also a very nice putt for Lance. So Steve and Lance with those amazing putts both get birdies. As we go on to basket 10, this is the first of two par 5 pin positions on the back nine. This is 675 feet to the basket. Lance is going to go with a sidearm shot. He's going to try to turn this over really high. Looks like he got kicked off a tree, though. It turned into the rough a little too early and kicked off a tree. Steve's going to stand and deliver with this drive. He's just going to hyzer this out. This fairway winds very quickly to the left. You don't want to go too deep off the tee. You'll find yourself off the fairway.
Oh well.
It's as heavy in the rough. This is very heavy rough. He goes with an overhand shot to get out. And that he gets out. Steve with his second shot.
Yeah, Steve. Great shot.
Oh, counter. Good putt.
Oh, no.
That's going to turn over for Andrew and not come back.
It's out.
Yeah,
It's
Andrew.
a fantastic putt for Andrew. Here's Steve for birdie. And that straddle putt is really working for him in these past two holes. Lance, he's going to try to save par.
Go in.
And both Andrew and Steve and Calvin all birdie this. Andrew now has a 4-stroke lead. As we move on to basket 11, this is a par 4, 600 feet. Here's Andrew. Once again, showing he spends as little time as possible in the box before he throws. He may have thrown it a little too straight as it hit that tree in dead center of the fairway. Here's Calvin with his drive. And he gets And the rough off to the left early. Here's Lance. Lance throws a sidearm and lets go a little too soon. Gets caught up some trees on the left side of the fairway from our vantage point. And Calvin's having some hard time getting out of this. He's going to try to turn over the sidearm shot. And that got him edge of the fairway. Lance once again goes with the sidearm. And this gets him amazing distance. He may be able to putt from there. Here's Andrew with his second throw.
Keep sliding. Come on.
Go.
Putting.
And we'll see where that leads him. He may have a putt from there. Here's Calvin. Calvin's just trying to get close so he can walk out of here with a birdie. And that'll work for him. I mean, walk out of here with a bogey, rather. Here's Steve with his second throw. Fantastic drive.
Yeah.
Andrew makes a fantastic putt. Steve putting for birdie. And the last 3 holes, Steve has really come up big. So we're going to take a quick break. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
We finally bought a place.
You seriously have enough saved to do that?
We've been putting a little aside each month.
So at the end of the month, we have nothing left to save. How is my account overdrawn?
When it comes to financial stability, don't get left behind. Get tools and tips for saving at feedthepig.org.
And welcome back. Here we are in basket 12. This is a par 4, 520 feet. And Steve is going to throw from a standing position. He's not going to do a run-up.
Like that.
And that gets down there pretty far. This fairway is very tight, as you can see. Andrew lets go too early and cracks into that first tree. This is a very tight fairway. As it opens up, the fairway takes a downhill elevation. Lance is going to go with an overhand shot, a tomahawk. Here's Calvin. Once again, goes with a backhand.
Must be a one.
Well, that second shot that put him on the fairway. Andrew's third shot. He kicks off another tray. Steve with his second shot. Andrew's really been struggling this hole. That approach is a very intense approach. If you go too far, you'll go down the hill. So we see Calvin putt out. Andrew's trying to save a bogey with this shot. And that's exactly what he does. So Steve will gain a stroke on Andrew with this putt. And now Andrew has a 3-stroke lead over Steve Brinster as we move on to basket 13. This is a par 3, 360 feet. This is one of 2 par 3 pin positions on the back 9. This is a downhill shot. This is a favorable shot for a right-hand backhand thrower. And we see Lance again with the sidearm. He's going to try and turn this over. He may have shown something very flippy there. That turned over for him, even though it looked like he had a lot of hyzer on it as it let it out of his hand. Here's Calvin with his drive. And he threw that perfectly.
Yeah, guess so.
Lance making a run at a birdie here. Goes with the jump putt. Just doesn't come back in time. Calvin's also making a run at a birdie here. It's a lot of hyzer on it, but it just doesn't stay. Doesn't even make the contact with the chains. Here's Andrew. He's going for his birdie. He shot too far, and it just stays in. It almost flipped on over that rim and did not go in, but he gets his birdie. Andrew Fish, he gets his 4-stroke lead back with that birdie over Steve. As we move on to the second par 3 pin position on this back 9, basket 14. This is 370 feet to the basket. All you want to do on this position is get a straight shot. And that's a decent shot from Andrew. Once again going with that sidearm.
Nice. Hit it.
Wow. Looked as though Calvin was flirting with an ace run there. As you see Steve trying to play out of the rough. Looks like that works for him. It's shooting for birdie. Oh, fantastic. Amazing. Here's Andrew for his birdie attempt. He just gets unlucky with the chains and the rim. And we're moving on to basket 15. This is a par 4, 440 feet.
Holy cow.
One.
Wow.
Nice go.
Shot, dude.
Nice shot. Good job.
Yep. Go up.
And Andrew, with that birdie, still hanging on to that 4-stroke lead, despite Lance and Steve, but also having birdies. We're moving on to basket 16. This is a par 4, 615 feet.
Again. Oh my god. Whatever.
Nice shot, Fish.
No, not again.
Like that.
Oh no. Yeah, good shot.
Good pull.
Andrew has to play out from behind a tree on this second shot.
Flippy.
He gets unlucky. It's a very tight fairway, a lot of random trees. Calvin's putting for birdie.
Attaboy.
And he just puts it right in there. Steve's going to try and save par with this putt.
Yeah, good hit.
And that straddle putt is really working for him today.
Yep.
With that birdie, Lance brings Andrew's lead once again down to a 3-stroke lead. But we're running out of time as we're on basket 17. This is the second of 2 par 5s on the back 9. This is 885 feet to the basket. So everybody at this point with that 3-stroke lead that Andrew has, they're running out of time here. This is, but this hole can be a game changer.
Stay right there. Nice. Great shot. Nice shot.
You're in.
Okay.
And with that, it's a one-stroke lead for Andrew now as he ends up with a bogey and Lance takes a birdie. This is going to be an exciting finish as we move on to 18 for the finish. This is a par 4, 630 feet. Here's Lance on the box. He just gets a little too much turn on that. May have held on a little too long to that. Here's Calvin with his drive. He lets go too early. Kicks off a tree, goes off to the right side of the fairway. Here's Steve Brinster with his drive. Steve also he let go a little early. And now we have Andrew Fish with his first throw. He just runs right up and throws. He threads a very fine shot. He needed that. So Lance, with that one stroke that he needs to make up here to try and tie Andrew Fish, he's struggling here. He does not get out back onto the fairway.
Great shot, Steve.
So now Lance is on his third throw, and Andrew hasn't even thrown his second yet. Lance with his fourth throw. We've yet to see Andrew's second throw. And finally, we get to see Andrew throw again. This is his second throw. He threads that gap very nicely. And they have a birdie from there. So it's starting to look like Andrew's going to have this wrapped up here.
Shot. Good shot, Lance. Good shot.
This hole's been very brutal for the group with the exception of Andrew. Looks like everyone's going to take a double bogey here. And here is Andrew putting for the win for a birdie. And Andrew Fish is the 2017 Delaware Disc Golf Champion. Well, congratulations to Andrew Fish with that 4-stroke lead. Finishing with a birdie on hole 18. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to wrap this up. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And there you have it. Andrew Fish walks away in first place with a very comfortable 4-stroke lead over Lance Brown. This is a very challenging round, but as I said, the one who managed the course with placement shots the best was going to really win big here. Lance Brown did make a close run at taking first place away from Andrew Fish as the round did come to an end, but with hole 18 just proved to be a challenge for everybody but Andrew, as save for Andrew, who did get a birdie 3. Everybody else in the group had to settle for a double bogey. So it was a big win for Andrew. He managed the course well, and he just threw these excellent placement shots. So that's going to do it for this month's edition of Disc Golf Monthly. Disc Golf Monthly, the show that brings you one step closer to the sport of disc golf.